Santa Barbara. Blake from Presidio Sports here, and today we're out at the Page Youth Center at Titan Sports Performance Center, and joining me right now is Jacques DeVore, the owner of Titan. Jacques, thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today.
Thanks, Blake.
Let's first of all just talk about the core philosophy of Titan, why you've started this, and what makes it unique.
Well, the human body responds to overload adaptation, and the things that we have tried to do and instill here is the ability to take an athlete from youth all the way to an 85-year-old and create an environment that's going to give them the most strategic way of training.
Okay, so how do you do that? Let's talk about your philosophy in that process and how you sort of look at it and approach it.
When you think of overload adaptation, you think of Hercules picking up the little calf when he's a child and then slowly progressing until he's picking up a bull and he's a grown man. The same principle applies. You want to increase incrementally so you don't injure them. And at the same time hit their goal when they need to. So if you had two twins and you said, okay, this one has identical genetics as this one, but this one's a marathon runner and this one is a bodybuilder, their body and the result of that overload would be completely different bodies. Our job as sports performance trainers and coaches is to figure out where, if it's a tennis player, what are the overloads to elicit an adaptation that results in a championship.
Sure. Okay, well let's talk about, it's all about goal setting and, writing these things down and just giving yourself time to reach these goals. What about Titan helps you sort of reach those goals quicker? I mean, how do you achieve those goals specifically here?
Strategy is based on, first of all, establishing a starting point. So we have our physical therapist and we do a biomechanical screen and then we look at a functional movement screen. Because you have to have solid mobility in order to move forward. So we evaluate the athlete that way initially and then look at a number of performance measurements as well. It would be equivalent to saying, I need to drive across country and I'm starting in LA or Santa Barbara and I need to get to New York. And I have 3 days to get there. Are you going to stop at every little gas station and ask for directions, or are you going to get a map? So what we're doing is we are laying out a map, because the athlete only has a limited amount of time in off-season and throughout their career to accomplish their particular goal. And we want to get them to New York without a car accident. So we don't want injury, we want to reduce the risk for injury. That's why the biomechanical screen, understanding that they're functionally sound, and then slowly progressing them and moving them forward to that goal.
Now you have some things here at Titan that I know I haven't seen before, some technologies in this facility, this great facility. Talk to us a little bit about what you have here.
Yeah, I've been an athlete all my life. The people that train here are athletes, so a lot of the stuff that we have here is for athletes, and we know what is important and what's not. We have an intermittent hypoxic trainer, which is very similar to training at altitude, so it increases the ability for someone to carry higher red blood cell, higher hematocrit. It's fabulous if someone's injured. We had a UCSB women's basketball player a number of years ago that was injured, sat on the machine during the injury, and was able to maintain a lot of their fitness and not being on the court and being able to practice because of an injury. We have an isokinetic piece of equipment we call the Vert equipment, which is for developing power in an athlete, for all types of upper body power, lower body power, and it's very safe. It's great for youth athletes. We can use it for an older adult, so it crosses the spectrum all the way across.
Let's talk about, there's a wide spectrum of different athletes and their goals. Let's take, say, something explosive like a shot putter, okay? And then the opposite end of that spectrum would be an endurance athlete like a distance runner.
Right.
How specifically can you custom tailor to those goals for these people?
We start from soup to nuts. So each individual will have a customized approach. The shot putter, for example, has to produce absolute power for one throw in a meet. Now we have to look at training and everything else, but how do we get them to get the most absolute power in that movement pattern that we can possibly generate? So their program will be much different than a cyclist or a marathon endurance athlete whose job is to produce an average power over 28 miles that's at a much lower rate than what the shot putter produces. So if you saw them in the gym, they would be doing completely different workouts. One would be doing much more longer duration types of intervals. The other one is looking more for absolute power. One is looking for maximum sustained power.
Okay, well you've sold me on that, but let's go to the real question that a lot of people have there, in this day and age they have right now. They want the best workout they can have for the lowest cost, because everybody's going through rough times right now. It seems like, what can Titan offer as far as that goes?
Our goal is to provide training to anyone that has the desire and the motivation to train, regardless of where they are financially. So we have scholarship athletes. We are extremely reasonable for the amount of science and what we have going on here and the customization with the athlete. It runs at about $27, $25 a session, depending on, and you'll be working with a group of individuals, 2 or 3. But it is bar none the greatest amount of value, because I want to give that to the athletes. I want someone who says, I want to work hard, I want to bust my butt, and I don't want them to look back on their career and say, how good could I have been if I could have only afforded the kind of training that Joey got and I wasn't able to get it. So that's a passion that we have, and so we're constantly trying to figure that out and keep the price down as far as we possibly can.
All right, Jacques, well, I think you've brought up a lot of great points here, and you've showed why Titan is unique, so thanks for doing that for us here. And Santa Barbara, come check it out. We're right at the Page Youth Center here, and 683-1231 is the phone number. Go ahead and give Titan a call and come on in and check out what you've just heard about. And Jacques, thanks so much once again for joining us.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.